Welcome back to Central News, and as you know, it's coming up to the end of the year. As one year ends, another one begins. And can you remember this time last year, have you kept your New Year's resolution? Can you even remember it? I know I can't, but joining me now is Maria Carlton. We're taking a look at goals rather than New Year's resolutions. Welcome to the show, Maria.
Hi, Janelle.
Now, I mean, it's important to set, not to set a New Year's resolution, is it? It's more important to set a goal.
I think so. I think New Year's resolutions have become a little bit cliche for a lot of people now, whereas goal setting is a lot more solid. It's a lot more focused on actually saying, hey, by this time next year, I want to have achieved this, this and this.
And because New Year's resolutions, like, we laugh about it. I think we always make them on sort of New Year's Day after we've had a big New Year's, and you think, no, I need to get my life sorted. But goals is more long term, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And probably not quite so hungover driven either.
Exactly.
Yes. Goals are definitely more long term and they're more solid. And whether you're setting goals as being for the next 12 months or for the next 10 years, it's important to actually think about them and write them down and really take some actions around those. And that's the difference, I think, with dreams or with resolutions. It's like, yeah, I'd like to lose some weight, or I'd like to give up smoking, go for a cruise, whatever. Whereas when you say, look, I am definitely going to do this, and then you start putting some actions in place to do that, that becomes a whole different thing.
Yeah, and that's the key. It's actually putting the process in place, you know, and setting those goals. So if we begin it, we decide what we want to achieve?
Yes, absolutely. First thing is to decide, okay, what do I want to achieve? And let's take a 12-month goal, for example, for next year. So we say, right, by the end of next year, I want to have taken up a new instrument, changed my job, maybe gone for a holiday, etc. And you decide, okay, so where am I going to go? What am I going to do? What do I have to do 6 months from now for that to become a reality in 12 months? So you break it down and break it back into smaller bite-sized pieces and put some timelines in place.
And I think that's important, and to keep checking your timelines, making sure you are
definitely
on time.
I mean, the thing is with goal setting, if you say, look, by this time, 12 months time, I want to be able to go on a cruise for Christmas. So what do I have to do within 6 months? How much money do I need to save? Where do I want to go? Who do I want to go with? The whole family or just my partner? What sort of destination do I have in mind? What sort of length of time? So all of these things have to be worked out. And then you have to decide, right, so I need to get a passport, I need to make sure that I've got savings, I've got a plan for what I'm going to do with the dog or the kids or whatever I'm leaving behind, and then you actually put some actions in place bit by bit. And one of the best ways to actually make sure a goal is set in concrete is to tell other people. I have a very good friend who's taking her family for a cruise this holidays over Christmas, and she's been telling us all since about February that that's what she's doing. So we keep getting interested, and she therefore feels that she's holding herself accountable for that.
Yeah, and you're going to hold her accountable, you know, because you're going to keep asking her about it, and how's it going? Are you getting there? You know.
Yeah.
And see, that's a good thing, I think, because most of the time people, they don't hold themselves accountable.
No, they don't.
They go, oh well, never mind. You know, next resolution is on the way. How realistic do you need to be, though? I mean, how can you be realistic when you're setting goals?
Well, I think if you're deciding that you'd like to become a ballerina and you've never even put on a pair of ballet shoes, that's probably a long stretch. If you decide, look, I really do want to go for a cruise, or I want to have a special family reunion for Christmas, then that's probably quite achievable. So it's a matter of saying, one, do I really want it?
Yeah.
How much do I want it? Can I achieve it? Is it realistic? And is it something I can do in the timeline that I'm giving myself?
Yeah, and it's okay to have a couple of different goals that you're striving towards.
Oh, it's definitely good to be flexible.
Yeah,
definitely good. And you might decide that the big ideal is something that's not quite achievable now, but that maybe a good portion of it is achievable in the immediate future. But hey, 5 years down the track, I can do the big one.
Yeah. It's important now to do it, before New Year's, to even just start thinking about it.
Well, I think it's good to start thinking about it as we start to wind down around Christmas and think about, well, where do I want to be this time next year? What do I want this next year to look like? And then we start looking at New Year's, do we want to sort of sit down with pen and paper straight after Christmas or straight after New Year? I think if you're calling it a New Year's set of goals, then it should be sort of done and dusted by the time you get to the end of January. But it doesn't have to be done just before Christmas. It doesn't have to be done just before or just after New Year. The best thing to do is work out a time that you've got a relaxed space in your day or in your diary to sit down and say, right, I want to do this and I want to do this. What are the things that actually are logistical about that? If I'm going to go for a cruise, where, who with, you know, how much time off work, what sort of dates, what sort of location, and how long is the cruise. So a time when you can sit down and really start to nail it, not just say I'm going to go for a cruise.
And the key is to write it down.
Definitely. You've got much better chance of having something become reality if you've written it down. And I know people who have sat there and looked at their goals and said, I'd forgotten I'd written that down. They find an old goal list from a couple of years ago. Wow, I achieved that. You know?
Yeah. So do you think you need to keep your goal list with you? Maybe pop it in your handbag so you can check on it, or
stick it on the fridge is a good thing.
Good idea.
Definitely.
Yeah. So you're reminded of it constantly and to keep you on track.
Yeah.
Any other tips on how to keep those goals?
Have fun with it. You know, stretch yourself. Go a little bit further than your comfort zone. Everything that you want in life is just outside your comfort zone.
So you need to push it.
Definitely. Make it so that it's something that you have to strive for, because then it feels so much better when you get it too.
Yeah. 2011 for you?
Oh, 2011 is going to be a big year. I've just achieved a couple of big things for myself, and I've got some more travel planned for next year. So.
Oh, it's going to be good. Maria, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Maria Carlton there. We're taking a look at goal setting for next year rather than New Year's resolutions. Make sure you get your pen and paper out and start setting yourself some really good goals for next year. Right, and that's it. That's all that we've got time for. Thank you so much for joining me. Tomorrow is going to be our very last show for the year, so do join us tomorrow night at the same time, and have a good evening. We'll see you then.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.